It's Mystery Series Week. We're here at Black Dog Books in Zionsville speaking with members of Speed City Sisters in Crime, the Indiana chapter of a worldwide association of mystery crime writers called Sisters in Crime. The Indiana chapter has over 40 members, many of them published mystery crime writers, as well as readers and fans of the genre. They hold monthly meetings with awesome speakers such as prosecutors, forensic specialists, policemen, and well-known mystery crime writers. 17 of them recently collaborated on a book titled Murder 2020. It's an anthology of 17 short crime stories set here in Indiana. We're interviewing 8 of these authors and will broadcast the interviews this week in 4 segments on Black Dog Books Facebook. Murder 2020 is available for purchase at Black Dog Books. Sisters in Crime has also generously donated a copy of Murder 2020 signed by all 17 authors that we'll be giving away at the end of October here at Black Dog Books. If you'd like to win this book, listen to the broadcast to learn how you can enter the drawing. The authors will introduce themselves, tell us the title of their story in Murder 2020, and read us their favorite line from their story. Then I will ask them some questions.
My name is Bridget Kephart. I'm the current president of the local Speed City Sisters in Crime. I write my mystery stuff under BK Hart normally. I have done some writing in humor and horror anthologies. And most of my recent work has been in mystery anthologies.
As the current president of Speed City Sisters in Crime, can you just give us a little bit of information, maybe like what has been one or two of your favorite past speakers and some of your upcoming events that you have planned?
See, a couple of the past speakers we've had that have been really phenomenal is Felipe Ryan. She's actually from around here, and she's a pretty well-known reporter out on the East Coast, and she's been writing some mystery stuff for quite a few years, and she has quite a bit of stuff out. And we did a thing with her, I want to say 2 years ago, and because she has such a big local following, we had quite a few people show up from the area. I want to say we had 55 maybe people that showed up, and we're a small chapter here. So, well, small compared. We've got like 45 members in our chapter now, and hers was really good. And then the current president of Sisters in Crime is Lori Rader Day, and we did one with her last year. And we've actually had her a couple of times because she's really fun. She's fun to listen to. She's got a lot of craft knowledge, and we really like to promote writers and the craft itself. So that's really good for us to bring those people in so that they can help us be better writers, basically.
Great. What are some upcoming events that Sisters in Crime is sponsoring?
We just did one with Dan Wakefield, and that was really good. It was a couple months ago. We got a lot of really good feedback on that one. The one that's coming up this month is Beth, Jayden, Terrell. She's another mystery writer. She is another Sisters in Crime. She was actually slated to do our September seminar from National. They were paying her expenses to come in and do the speaker event, and it was going to be an all-day thing, but with COVID, that's just we're not really doing too much of that. A lot of stuff is going online. So she's actually doing a 2-hour seminar, and I think it's going to be about how to tighten up your story and a little bit of her background on how she got started and what she does.
Great. Is there a character, one of your characters, that you would like to meet for a cup of coffee and a chat?
Yes, actually, the character that's in Dingo Dan, he's actually a recurring character for me, and he's actually based on somebody I work with who I've never met him. I do customer service in my real life. And he's one of my vendors from Colorado. So I built the character around what I knew about him, and so I've never actually physically met him. So I would like to meet him. The character itself is really cool. I really like Denver McNulty, which is my character. But I would like to meet the real person who I built him on. So.
Great. So you say that you write about humor, mystery, and horror. Have you ever combined all of those elements in a story?
I don't think I'm skilled enough to be able to do that and do it well. If I were intentionally doing it, I would say that some of my mystery has some horror elements, and almost all of my stories have some sort of humor twist, even if it's like irony. And I can't help getting the humor part in there because some things just look so odd to me. And when you're writing stories, sometimes that just comes across.
What's the most surprising thing you learned from writing a story? Or an interesting fun fact from one of your stories?
I think you learn something different from every story that you write. I had a story that I started doing some stuff with urban fantasy, and I really, that was actually when I started doing the first short stories. And I wrote like 5 short stories that I thought, oh, these might do something at some point. And I was really shocked that they got sort of picked up in the horror genre. So sometimes things cross over a little bit that you don't really expect to cross over. And I guess that's a little bit of what I've learned is sometimes stories that you think are going to fit one place actually can kind of fit someplace else. And a lot of times your edits, it's very easy to edit something in or something out. Well, I say easy. Once somebody says, hey, you've got to get this out to make it like this, then it's easy because somebody else has told you what needs to happen with it.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Ross Carley, and I write murder mysteries and cyber thrillers. I have 4 books out now. They feature Wolf Ruger, who is an Iraq vet with PTSD, and characters in them include a mob boss, and we have both the Armenian and Italian mafia running through the books. I came to Sisters in Crime in a kind of an unusual way, perhaps. Several of us in the chapter are male, and my mentor, who really got me writing mysteries, is a pretty well-known mystery author named Les Roberts. And Les, by the way, was refused entry, was refused membership in Sisters in Crime in the early days by Sarah Paretsky, who wanted to keep it, at that point, an all-female organization. But when I asked for Les' recommendation, I said, I want a group that in Indianapolis, Les said without hesitation, find a local Sisters in Crime chapter. So I did.
Great. What is the title of your story in Murder 2020?
I see what you're saying, and it's about the protagonist has what's called synesthesia, which a lot of people haven't heard of, but something like 2% of the population have it, and a lot of people don't even know they have it. But it's where your brain is sort of cross-wired, and I'll give you a couple of examples. With some people, in words, they will see colors. They'll see the word Wednesday and they'll see red. Or they may hear a sound and see colors, or hear a sound and taste something. But the senses are sort of cross-wired with synesthesia. And my protagonist has synesthesia in that story. And uses it, by the way, to solve a murder.
That's fascinating. How did you hear about synesthesia? How did you first hear about it? Did you
You know, I don't remember, but I remember why I got interested in it when I did hear about it. I was trying to think when I first heard about it. Back when I was writing my second book, which is Formula Murder, I was seriously considering incorporating a woman police detective who had synesthesia in the book. And I researched it and I researched it, and I actually wrote a couple drafts of chapters, tore them up, threw them away, and said, this isn't working. But when it came time to submit a short story for the Sisters in Crime anthology, I thought, now's the time. And I had done the research at that point and was ready to write the character.
Fascinating. So, speaking of research, what kind of research do you do?
I do a fair amount of in-person research, which I think is a little unusual. I have a group called the Cyber Cabal Breakfast Group. We're now meeting virtually, but I have people who are experts in cybercrime, cyber terrorism, and we meet and they read what I write, they give me ideas, and we have a lot of exchange back and forth. I mean, obviously all of us look stuff up on the internet, but my most interesting stuff has come out of the people that I sit and we used to have breakfast physically together until COVID, but I ask them questions, they give me suggestions, and it's really fascinating and incredible.
How long do you spend researching before beginning a book or a story?
Well, that kind of goes all over the map, because sometimes I will get into, or there are various ways to write a book. You can write an outline. I am not an outliner. I'm what they call a seater, seat of the pants. And I start writing, and all of a sudden my story takes a right turn at the Red Barn, and I have to stop for a while and do some research at that point. Other times I have the research pretty well done. I have notes taken and I know what I'm going to do, but it sort of varies according to the situation in the book.
When you mentioned some of your research meeting people, what are some of the most fascinating experts or people that you have consulted?
Well, in my Cyber Cabal Breakfast Group, I have ex-FBI guy who is head of the Great Lakes Cybercrime Task Force, another guy who was a very famous hacker in his day, who is now head of cybersecurity for Sallie Mae, another guy who is a data scientist for the leading cybersecurity company in the United States, which has a research and development office here in Indianapolis. And these people bring me things. I've done a little consulting myself, but they bring me things that I never would have thought of. I guess I'll toss one out because it just floored me. I found out that the FBI actually works with hackers and in the cybercrime area, and what was the surprising thing, they have active connections with organized crime and the mafia, getting information from, and as Chris Collins put it, we get information wherever we can. And so they have these active people that they use as sources within organized crime.
So it almost sounds like you are privy to some great primary resources rather than doing your research on the internet. So.
I think that's my favorite kind of research. Yeah, I have to buckle down and do research on the internet too.
Thank you very much. Be sure to listen to our next interview with 2 more Sisters in Crime authors tomorrow, here on Black Dog Books' Facebook page. If you'd like to win a signed copy of Murder 2020, come into Black Dog Books in Zionsville, where you will be able to enter your name into the October 31st drawing.